Right. Yeah. Yesterday we are discussing about.
Sorry, sir.
Yeah, shall I? Yeah. So yesterday we have discussed about of the enterprise structure, that was in a creation part, and now we will go for the
Okay.
enterprise structure of the assignment, right? And this assignment we are having the two things. The first one will be the this was the concept itself, enterprise structure assignment, and here we are having the two things. For making of those two things, we are having the menu part of the SPRO, SAP reference IMG, and then enterprise structure, definition, assignment, financial accounting, financial accounting. Under that, the first one will be the assign company code to company. Assign company code to company. For this one, it was an OX16, and as well as the second one will be the assign business area to consolidation business area. Assign business area to consolidation business area government, OBP6. So first of all, let us finish these two, then we will go for the next one. For making of assignment for this, first of all, let us log in here.
Sir, I have one question.
You can.
Sir,
Yes.
what is the difference between segment and business area, sir?
See, business area is a separate business, individual business entity, what the client doing their business activities. And the segment is also a separate entity, but not making of their business transactions. The segment is especially is used to call the data from different variances into the profit center account. Right? So the
Oh, okay.
business area is nothing but like where the client is doing their businesses. And what exactly by the segment is used to grab the data. That means grab the transactions from the different business areas or different consolidation business or for the different something what it was company codes for making of the profit center. That means to calculate the profitability, we are doing the segment. For making of the business, we are using the business area. That is the difference in between of these two.
Okay, sir.
Now, SPRO,
So is it possible to draw the balance sheet for that segment?
yes, we can buy the even that means that is called as a consolidated balance sheet, or else which we can call that is not in a complete balance sheet. By the segment wise, we can get the profitability, and as well as we can make the trial balance also by the segment wise. We can make it, not an issue for
Okay.
that, right?
Okay.
Here, enterprise structure, assignment, financial accounting, assign company code to company, and whenever we are going to the assigning part, we need to choose the button of this position. Whenever you want to use the position button, there was a shortcut key which we are using in generally, that was a shift plus F7. That means here also, if we can use the shift plus F7 or else the position button. Shift plus F7. Asking about the company code, it was in a PEN1 and PEN8, and it was in a PEN12. That means I'm having the Penna Cements company code, which is located in the Delhi, and it consists of the company group of the companies PEN12. And this is the first one in the assignment. And the next thing which we have to go for the assignment, that was an assign business area to consolidation business area. Under this assign business area to consolidation business area, we will make the position button, and what will be your business area, or else what will be your business area here. And what was that? Consolidation business area of yours. PNB. The means here, PNB. That means these are the business areas, Hyderabad, Vizag, and so on, so on, so. Maybe at the end of the financial year, even if you want, you can get the balance sheet report, whatever the business has been done under this Hyderabad. That was a business area. And the segment in the sense of, under this business area, you have done any business, you want to calculate that how much of the business you have done in between of the profit and loss and also the balance sheet. For the both of the things you can take it from the segment. That was the difference in between of those two, right? And this was an enterprise structure.
Okay, sir.
And now we are entering the main concept, which is called as an financial accounting global settings. This was called as an FI FAGS. FAGS. And what exactly by the FAGS in the sense of, it was a financial accounting global settings. Financial accounting global settings. And maybe you can ask here.
Sir, I'm not able to see the screen, sir.
It was already shared.
I'm seeing only the SAP screen.
No. I think so. It was little bit takes some time for a couple of seconds. Now you are
No, sir. Still I'm seeing the SAP screen only. Yeah, now I can see.
now? Yeah, because the buffering will be the
Yes,
little
sir.
bit slow. That's why. Within the problem.
Okay.
So financial accounting global settings. Maybe Mr. Arjun, when you are facing of an interview, if the interviewer is asking that, okay, Mr. Arjun, you are working as an SAP FI consultant. Can you tell me that, especially in SAP FI, why should we need to use these settings, and as well as why should we are calling these as a global settings? The main thing. See, there was a lot of the settings will be there, but what exactly the question is, why should we have to call these as in a global settings? Why don't you call these as in a normal settings? Why? Because the global means if you have the one thing, we can make the link with the number of. Let's say for example, under this, majorly we are having the one variable. Let's take the name of the fiscal year value. That means if in my company, if I am having the one fiscal year value, let's take the something around January, April to March. But that can be assigned for a multiple of the company. I'm having the Penna Cements and Penna Irons and Penna Iron Ore as like as multiple of the company codes also will be there. I can assign one global variable to a number of the things, to a number of the company codes. That's why it will be calling as a global setting. Under this global settings, the majorly the first one is the fiscal year value. It's not a physical, it's simply we can call as a fiscal. So what is the exactly by the fiscal year variant in the sense of, simply we can say that every country is working with a different financial years. So as like as, but every country is consist of the same calendar year. That was on a January to December. That means depends upon the country wise, their business transactions can be defined into different types of the financial years. Say for example, in India, which we are using the financial year of the April to March. But we can't say that all the countries are using the same financial years. Depends upon the country wise, it will be changes. So, but all of the countries is consist the same calendar year. That was called as it Jan to December. As like as the SAP system is also here consists of the standard standard calendar year, which we can call as Jan to December. That means the SAP system is having the Jan to December, but what we have to do that we need to make the conversion of that Jan to December to our required of April to March.
April to March.
That's what we have taken. We have taken the Indian company. For the Indian company, it was an April to March. That's why we have taken this one. As like as if we can go for another country, say for example, of our client is from the African company, they are using their own financial year. As like as if you are working for the Netherlands company, client, the Netherlands countries consist of their own financial year. So whatever when you are facing of an interview, if the interview is asking that, what do you mean by the fiscal year variant? Under situation, don't make panic and don't use the word that is something what it is. That is what we need to say that here is fiscal year is not an April to March. Fiscal year in the sense of it's a conversion of a calendar year into the financial year, but not the April to March.
Okay.
Why? Because depends upon the countries, it will be changes. That's why don't we say that it was an April to March. It was simply we can say that it is a conversion of a calendar to financial year. That's it. And here, what exactly we need to do that? Variant is nothing but like one variable or one a box. Say for example, here what we are having is April to March. That means totally we are in require the 12 portions. That's why first of all what I am doing that I have taken one box. I have taken one box. Say for example of one variable. Okay, this is one. So as like as I have taken one box and that box name which I am proposing with some XYZ. I have taken one box and that box name is some XYZ like this. See, this was the one fiscal year, one box. I am making this fiscal year name as a name P1. That means I need a box with the name of P1 and it consists of the description of April to March. It can have the description of the April to March and also as well as it consists the totally 12 separate parts. What are those of the 12 separate parts in the sense of those 12 separate parts which we can call as a postings. That means by using this financial year or the fiscal year, we will or we can make the 12 postings. We'll make the 12 postings. See, as like as here, what are the what we require is we are requiring about 12 portions. That means here 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9 and 10 and as well as 11 and also the 12. That means what I want to say that I need a box and that box consists of the 12 parts. That means 12 parts which we are calling as not a 12 parts, those which we can call this as 12 periods. What is the indifference between of the periods and as well as the months in the sense of in the calendar year, which we are calling as a month, but when it was comes into the financial year, it will be calling as a period. So here I am in required totally 12 periods and as well as 4 special periods. That means, which we can say that special periods in the sense of for, for making of the backdate postings, or else those of the 12 periods has to be divided into the 4 parts, as like as these 3 is the one and these 3 is the one part, and again those 3 is the one part, as like as I can require 12 periods and those 12 periods has to be divided into the 4 parts. So for making of this one, we will go from here. The menu path will be the menu path will be SPRO, IMG, financial accounting global settings, fiscal year, maintain fiscal year, maintain fiscal year, Y. And now go for the new entries. I am asking you about the one box. That means one variable. What would be that variable name? What do you want to maintain that name of the variable or the box name? So here I am giving that PP, then what it was, which I am saying that it was an Indian financial year and it should contains the April to March. And even if you are using the April to March and what your client is asking that, if the client is asking to maintain this April to March only for this financial year, that means for the next year they don't want to use the April to March. That means maybe it will be changes for their countries. At that time you can use the year dependent. That means if you can use the year dependent, it will be uses only for that particular financial year, not for the other financial years. That's why don't make it. And the calendar year. If the client is asking you about the calendar year, you can make it as in a calendar year. Otherwise leave it. And how many of the periods you want? That means how many of the posting periods. Posting periods in the sense of for making of a transactions. So here for making of a transactions for myself, I am in required 12 periods. And those 12 periods has to be divided into the 4 special periods. So I required 12 posting periods and as well as those 12 has to be divided into the 4 special periods. And now make it save it. And I have taken this box as like this. I said that it is required 12 and those 12 has to be divided into the 4. But what my question is here is, you are asking about of the 12 periods. But those 12 periods has to be divided into the 4 parts. That's okay. But what are the those of the 12? What are the those of the 12 which you require? Then we have to set that. Select this variable. Go on periods. Go on periods and make it new entries. Now here month. As per my client requirement, they require the month of the 4. See, the month is 4 and it consists of the days of 13. But in our financial it was in a 1. And is there any year will be shifting? No. Wherever we have started, it will be there itself. That's why 0 is in a calendar year shift. It was not shifting to anywhere. And the 5, 30, 31, 2, 0. 6, 30, 3, 0. 7, 31, 4, 0. 8, 31, 5, 0. 9, 36, 0. 10, 31, 7 0 11 30 8 0 12 31 9 0 1 31 10. Then the year will be shifting here. Why? Because if you are using all those periods from April to December is in the 2016, but the January, February, March has to be comes into the next financial. That's why in this situation we need to shift the year. But here the year shifting will be comes as an a minus 1. 22, 28, 11, minus 1, 3, 31, minus 1, and make it 6. It means what we have done that the SAP system itself, it consists of the Jan to December, and we made that calendar year into the financial year of the April to March. It means client requirement. This is what we can call as a conversion of a calendar year into the client's required financial year, not the April to March. Conversion of a calendar into the financial year. And now, what I want to say that you have done your financial year, but this financial year has to be run for which company code? For that again, come back, assign company code to fiscal year variant. See, here there was a multiple of the company codes will be there. As like as in your client also, they are having the multiple of the company codes. One is the announcements, one is the another is one, like that. Multiple of the company codes will be there. At that situation, you can add for multiple of the company codes for this fiscal year. That's why we are calling this as a global variable. Global in the sense of nothing but again one is to many. One thing can be assigned for multiples. So enter what would be the company code PENA, and what would be the fiscal year variant is PP, and make it save. Yes, sir. So this is what we can call as a fiscal year. And another important variable in the most of the time, instead of we are developing this variable, but this variable is very important for all the modules. In general, myself is an MM, materials management. I am making all the purchasing activities in all the modules. So, in this situation, what my client is asking that they want to maintain all their material management activities. That means all the purchasing and orders and everything, all the activities by using the financial year of the April to March, but the financial year of the April to March will be there, but they want to post the stock entries from July onwards, not from the April onwards. That's why in that situation, initially we need to create, or whatever we have created the periods, we need to open and closing of this one. For that, your document, posting periods, what is the variant? Define variance for open posting periods, new entries. Here also I am taking one variant, that means one variable or something, one box, which I am calling this as an PNPP, posting period variant for PENA, save. And now make the open and closing of these periods or a variant, and now go for the new entries, the variant of the PNPP. See, here the main thing will be there. The PNPP, if the client is asking to maintain the sales activities or else only the customer activities from the July to December. Even they want to maintain their purchasing activities from other period to other period, or else they want to maintain the materials from this period to this period. In the situation, we will make separate one for each and every separate types of the accounts. But generally, all types of the accounts can be allowed. Means instead of making all the individuals, if we can give the valid for all account types, the first period in the sense of it was in April. It has to be starting 2016 and it has to be closed in 12th period. This 12th period is under on 2017. First period, April, has to be starting 2016 and 12th period means March has to be closed in 2007. And even I have divided those into four parts. One is the first quarter, second quarter and third quarter period. Here I am taking as a 13 in the year of 2016 and the 16 in the year of 2007. That means which we have already defined that we require the April to March and that April is the first period that has to be started in 2016 and the 12th period is the March that has to be closed in the 2017 and the first quarter has to be the 13, it has to be started in 2016 and the 16th period is in a last quarter that has to be closed in 2007. So this is what we can call as a posting period variant. Even if you have not done this, the posting period variant, in future the people are unable to post the transactions of the material management activities. And they also, even the sales people also doesn't allow to make the sales activities. That's why this was a major heart of it. And now assign this variant to the company and go for the position button and what will be the company code, and here the company code is a PNA and as well as the posting period variant here it is a PNP, which we are doing is the PNP and so now what we have done is what is that clients required financially and as well as that financial year periods has to be open on which year from which period and closes on which year which period and which year it has to be starts where it is a period and which period has to be closed and where it was. This is what we can call as an open and close posting periods. Open and close posting
So
periods.
one question is that
You can
sir,
yeah,
when will we use the special period and how the special period are affected in the entries?
that's what I'm explaining now. See, the
Okay.
special periods will be segregated in by the two ways. The first thing is, for example, we are taking the April to March now, right?
Yes,
For
sir.
example,
Yes, sir.
it was totally 12. That means the first part of the 13 which we are taking special period. That 13 is the combination of the April, May, June. That was the 13, the special period.
Yes, sir.
And even the 14. 14 in the sense of it was the combination of the July, August, September. That is the second posting period, second special period. And the 15, the next special period, it will be called as an October, November, December. That is a 15. And the last 16, that means it was the combination of the Jan, Feb, March. That means either if you want to maintain your period wise report or else you can take you want to get the report with the quarterly wise. So whenever you want to add the quarterly wise report, we can take the special periods of the so and so 13, 14, 15, 16. Those are the special periods. When calling of the reports, if the client is asking to make their quarterly reports also, we can take this for. Otherwise, if the client has been already closed the financial year, that means 16-17 financial year has been closed. That means 2017 March 31st has been came. But at that time also some of the transaction was pending there. That means whatever there has to be received and whatever there has to be give some balances will be there. In that situation, what the client is doing that instead of carry forwarding those of the balances to the next financial year, they are making some special periods as an additional postings. Those are the additional postings also can be done by this special periods. Got it, Mr. Arjun?
Yes, sir, sir. So
It is.
in which month it will be affected, sir?
It will be effects after the December. Sorry, after the March.
After the
After the March. Sorry. Why? Because we are
okay,
taking the April to March now, right?
okay,
In the March after it will be reflects the special periods.
okay,
Other else, that is a one way, one type of the reporting.
okay,
Even in the
okay,
second usage of the special periods is 12 divided by 3 is the 4, right?
okay.
That means
Yes, sir.
we are taking the 4, and what we are saying that these 4 has to be divided by the 12 periods. That means for every 3 months we can get the one special period. That
One
means
special.
April,
Okay, sir.
May, June is
Okay.
in one special period. July, August,
Hmm.
September is in a second special period. October, November, December is the third special period. January, February, March is in a fourth special period. That can be also possible. Even you can ask that, you have asked that segment-wise report. As like as
Yeah.
if the client is asking to maintain the report by the quarterly wise, then we can use this one also. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Right.
Okay, sir.
And this is what about the posting period. And the next thing we have to go for one more variable is there. That's what we are calling as a field status variable. So this was most of the time in generally in the real time it was a very useful. I will give a small example for this.
Okay,
Say for example,
okay, sir.
myself is a user. I want to post the one transaction was. What is the transaction is? I am paying the rent amount, and what I want to post the transaction is rent account debtor to cash account. That is in one transaction. Is it right? And
Yes, sir.
even I want to post another transaction with the same rent, but rent to bank. See, there is a transaction which has been paid from the cash and also which has been paid from the bank. Two transactions are there.
Bye.
But what I'm saying that if you are using the transaction ledger of the bank, there was a value date and the check number is a mandate. Is it right or not? That
Yes,
means
sir.
you are posting your transaction and that posting will be done by through the bank ledger. There was a check number and the value date is a mandate. But if you are doing the same transaction, if you done the same transaction by the cash, by the cash, that was not a required amount of the check number and as well as the value date. That means, can we accept that depends upon the ledger which we are using under the transaction. The transaction fields will be valid. Is it right?
Yes, sir.
So, as like as when you are doing any of the transaction, depends upon the ledgers which we are using under the transaction, that fields will be varying, and as like that, which of the fields are required and which of the fields are not required can be maintained by this field status variable. Right?
Okay, sir.
What is the field status variable
Yeah.
in the sense of it is a variant which is used to maintain the fields, which are required and which are not required when posting of a transaction. Depends upon the ledger. It was different for each and every transaction, and that can be defined by through the field status variable. That can be defined by through the variant of field status variable. So For creation of that field status variant, we need not to create it. It was already there. We need not to create that variant. It was already there. We will just make a copy of that one. For that, from here, let us see. Here, I'm taking the SPRO, IMG, financial accounting, global settings, document, line items, controls, maintain field status. Here, already we are having some predefined field status variant with the name of 0001. See, it was already there. You just take it and make a copy of this PNFV field status variant for PENA enter. That means the SAP system is already consist of this something. Okay, first you are saying that you are having something. Okay, I'm also accepting that one. But what it consists, I want to see that. Select it. Go for groups. See, here are the different types of the field description. Say for example, um, your client is asking that whenever they are posting any transaction of the expense, the client asking to that they need to make the cost center is in a manual. That was the client requirement. But in generally the SAP system is not having this. In that situation, here cost accounts, go for the double click on it, and in general data, here the cost center should be maintained as a required and make it simple. Even the client is asking to, they are maintaining the WBS, that means web-based services. If the client is using any web-based services in EBS, electronic bank statements or electronic BRS, to ensuring of the EBRS, the client is asking to handle their statements by through the web services. In that situation, C005, and what we have to do that, here we will make that WBS element will be the, as like as in the same way, when they want to post any transaction and that ledger consists of the G001, they want to maintain the text as a required entry. Or else they don't want, make it suppressed. If they want, make it required. Even if they say in there, if it was required I can use, otherwise I don't want. Make it optional. So, like this, which of the fields are required and which of the fields are not required. One posting of any general ledger transaction that can be handled by this field system. This is what we can. What is the purpose of the field system? So, is it clear, Mr. Arjun?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What exactly by the field status variant in the sense of it is used to maintain that which of the fields are required and which of the fields are not required. Most of the time, when using of the EBS, electronic bank statements clearances, we are using the which I have shown that is WBS element. As like as when posting of the something, the client is asking that they want to maintain the cost center is required. We will make it as like this. And whatever the variable which we have created, it has to be assigned to our company code. That means we have created something. We have created something the variable. And now what I want to do that I want to assign that variant to my company code. So in the situation, make it assign company code to field status variant. See, when anybody is working with the other same session with the same server, it will be going to lock here. In the situation, just make the /go, that means another session, SM12. Enter. List. Lock entering. Delete all. Delete all. Yes. Yes. And now come back. Now you can try to your action. It will be no more locks. And just go for the position button. And what will be the company code? In the sense of the company code is in a PENA, and the field status variant is PEPNF, and save. So these three are the main things for the field sorry global settings. The first one, which we can call it as a name, the first one which we can call as a global the global settings is the fiscal year. What was a fiscal year in the sense of nothing but a conversion of a calendar to required financial year. And the second one will be the posting period. What was the posting period in the sense of it is to maintain the periods when there has to be open and when there has to be closed, and for which type of the account is making by through the posting period. And at last it was a name field status variant. What would be the field status variant in the sense of when posting of any transaction with any of the ledger, which of the fields are required and which of the fields are not required can be maintained by through the fields. So these three things are called as a global system. So here now we have completed the two tasks. One is the enterprise structure, and the second thing was a
Global.
financial accounting global setting.